please help me explain to my son why it's necessary to spend all of this money on the church facility.
Oh, man. Well, please explain to your pastor why it's necessary as well.
Yeah.
I mean, these are incredible questions that we have to ask about the stewardship of what God's given us. The facility is a tool. It's not a goal at all. It's a tool that's to be used for specific ministry purposes. And our facility in particular has thousands of people that use it every single week, and it creates environments for the real stuff to be able to happen in. Stewarding that facility well for the long run, I think, is very important for us. And every so often, every 20 or 30 years, you just have to renovate facilities in order to be able to set them up for the next generation. And so in those points, you have large amounts of capital outlay. Beyond belief is one of those times as well, that if you allow your facility to become dilapidated to a place where ministry is becoming prevented, you're actually going against the mission that God has called you to. So before you get to that spot, you say, okay, I want to make sure that we don't get to that place. You do your renovations at that point. Those are expensive at that point, but they're expensive now in order to be able to last for another 20 or 30 years worth of ministry with thousands of people a week. And the hope is that it multiplies out in way more good than any other use of that money.
Yeah, and I think there are churches and Christian organizations that sometimes have given a bad name and created people to be critical and understandably so critical of how churches use their money and the asks that people make and things like that. And so I think there's a real acknowledgement that does happen inside of the church world, inside of religion. And it's one of those things that people can see and not want to have conversations with and just kind of brush everybody with just a big general paintbrush of they are, not good, that they're trying to be capitalistic and they're just trying to build their own kingdom. And I think any of us would be welcome to sit down, a pastor on staff with somebody and have that conversation. If they're really struggling with our church and how finances are used and things like that, that there is a lot of clarity around how we do that and accountability. And there are places that there's not. And that's just a reality. And so
that's very true.
I'm grateful to work at a place that there is a lot of that accountability for sure.
And transparency.
Yep.
Anybody can look at those numbers. Any member can look at anything they want and find out how much got spent on it, and we can talk about why we did that. The other thing that I would say is that we want to have a facility that's solid, that's pleasant, but isn't luxurious or ostentatious. And I think that from the past, really from the time we moved to this location on, people have stewarded that philosophy very well, so that we've got a solid building, a pleasant building, but not a luxurious building. And I like living in that balance.